Corn maze opens up this month. A Cristobal man took a plea deal for theft. The ASU planetarium shows start tomorrow, and the fire chief for the Winners Volunteer Fire Department has passed away. I'm James Bellini, and this is Live. We'll get to the news in a minute, but first, the 2024 presidential debate is being held tonight, and you can catch all the coverage when Donald Trump takes on Kamala Harris at the ArcLight Bar and Grill, who will be having drink specials from 4 o'clock until close in honor of the two politicians going head-to-head. The ArcLight Bar and Grill will have $5 Red Wave margaritas, $4 Willie Brown shots, and the coldest draft beer in town. Watch the debate how it was meant to be seen on the largest video wall in San Angelo at the ArcLight Bar and Grill located at 441 Rio Concho Drive at the Clarion Hotel. Starting off the news, Rance Millican has taken a plea deal for theft of property after stealing over $50 grand from his victim, who was expecting to have a swimming pool built. According to court documents, the victim sent a deposit of $52,638 to Deep Blue Pools owned by Rance and Tanya Millican to construct a swimming pool back in 2022. After over a year, construction had not yet begun on the victim's property after measurements were taken for the pool. Then in January 2023, the Millicans cut all communications with the victim. When a civil lawsuit was filed against them, the Millicans said they'd resolve the matter, and in May 2023, the victim spoke with Rance on the phone, who said personal matters arose and he did not have the money. A subpoena was sent to Prosperity Bank, and that money was used at Walmart, H-E-B, and restaurants around town. In exchange for a guilty plea, Millican was sentenced to 2 years probation and must pay $52,638 in restitution. Tanya Millican is expected in court later this month. The Circle S Corn Maze and Pumpkin Patch is set to open, and this year they went with a Peanuts theme to celebrate Peanuts' 75th year anniversary. Circle S Corn Maze is also debuting a Circle S Express, a new barrel train ride for children. In addition to the Peanuts-themed corn maze and the barrel train, there will be games and activities and a pumpkin patch that offers 30 different kinds of pumpkins. Admission to the farm is $2 with an additional charge for the corn maze, and children under 2 can enjoy Circle S for free. Operating hours are 5 to 8 p.m. Thursday and Friday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1:30 to 6 p.m. on Sundays. Have you downloaded the San Angelo Live mobile app yet? Over 11,000 of you have. It's free and it's the best app in the business, so go download it off the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to stay up to date with news in San Angelo. The San Angelo State Planetarium will begin their dome shows tomorrow on September 11th at the Vincent Building at Angelo State University. Shows will happen weekly on Wednesdays and Thursdays until December 5th with breaks for holidays. Shows start at 7 p.m. will cost $3 for adults and $2 for children, active military, and senior citizens. Tomorrow's show is 3,000 Years of Stargazing, and Thursday's show is Forces of Nature. You can get more information at asu.edu/planetarium or go to see the story on sanangelolive.com. And some sad news, Mark Bridgeman, the Winners Volunteer Fire Chief, has passed away. Bridgeman is remembered as a selfless and heroic leader in the community, and he was deeply respected by it. A statement released said that Mark was a remarkable individual who, in addition to being selfless and heroic, was loyal and authentic. Bridgeman is survived by his wife Yolanda, his 3 children, and his grandchildren. Into weather, sunny days are back, and for the time being, the cool days are back for a couple days. Right now, it's 85 degrees outside with a high of 87 for the day, and then a low tonight of 58. Wednesday, the high reaches up to 89, and then Wednesday night, the low drops to 63. On Thursday, we break 90 with 91 and have a low that night of 67. Conditions look to be clear with low winds coming out of the south from anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour. When we come back in sports, Lakeview head coach Hector Guevara addressed the media at his press conference today, and then we have 2 great interviews, one with Dr. Carrell with the ASU Planetarium and the other with the Myra Museum curator Coleman. But first, a word from the Bass Bunch.
It's our giant tag sale.
Giant tags plus hell means one thing: Giant Tag Hail Sale prices. Right now, during our Giant Tag Hail Sale, you can get a brand new 2024 Ford Explorer XLT for just $32,977. But hurry, these are selling fast. Our Giant Tag Hail Sale at Jim Bass Cars and Trucks, Houston Hart at Arden Road, or shop 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
Past 2 weeks now, seems like you've been right on the precipice of a win. What do you feel like you guys need to do to kind of break that?
You just got to take care of the ball. You know, you can't have that many turnovers in the game and expect to win football games. Very fortunate the kids battled and stay in the games. So we just got to continue what we're doing and just be disciplined and do our job, you know, offensively, defensively.
What are some changes going in that you guys are looking to fix on the defensive side of the ball to keep you guys closer, seeing as you guys are shy of any 50-yard plays, explosive plays down the field that are keeping you in the game?
You know, I think we're doing, coach is doing a good job getting them ready. It's hard, you know, when you get the ball in your end, you know, to stop people. Momentum changes, and you know, the kids, we got to do a better job tackling, you know, but other than that, I think we're doing a decent job.
How do you feel Chris has played? You know, he got limited time in the first week and then started last week.
No, he's done a good job. Like I said Friday, he's a gamer, and so he goes out there and gives it his all, and that's all we ask.
What is the quarterback situation? What's like Perez? Is he if he's healthy? I mean, would you consider using them both, or I mean, how would you work that out?
Chris is our quarterback right now, so
okay.
That's what we're going with.
What do you feel like he brings, maybe a little bit extra to your football team?
I mean, obviously he brings that dual threat. He's able to throw the ball and he's able to run. So that makes it a little harder for defenses. But you know, we still got to get better as reads and spacing and stuff like that. So that'll go through time.
When do you feel like you identified that with him, like that he could be your starter this year?
We just go week by week.
You guys got one more home game again this week coming up. What's the message to the boys going into this one to get that first win of the year?
You know, just keep building on what we've done, you know, and just eliminate those errors that occurred during the game. Just stay positive, and they do a good job. They pick each other up, so that's been good.
Yeah, and obviously you're very familiar with Lamisa. What have you seen kind of on tape from them this year? What are you kind of expecting?
Coach Ramos has done a good job bringing in his schemes. They're very explosive offensively. They rally to the ball defensively, so it'll be a great test again, and we just got to do our best.
What have you seen from this team that is not reflected by the win-loss column? What have you seen from them that shows that they are above what the record says?
Man, it's early in the year, so you know you're gonna have those games. You know, everybody's trying to find themselves, getting that team chemistry. I mean, you saw last Saturday Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, so I mean it's gonna happen early on. We just got to fix what we're doing now and take care of our business, not worry about anybody else.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the Giants and who will never, ever flinch.
And welcome back, everybody. James Bellini here with Dr. Carrell with ASU. He runs the planetarium over there. Mm-hmm. Dr. Carrell, how are we doing today?
I'm doing all right. Enjoying the cool weather and the rain.
Yeah, thank goodness the rain's over a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
All right. You run the planetarium. Let's talk about y'all releasing the schedule tomorrow for the fall shows coming up. Mm-hmm. Let's go and talk about it.
Yeah, so you know we have our public shows during the fall and spring semesters. We usually wait a week or two for the semester to get started, but starting next Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have shows for the public again. Those are at 7 p.m. on both nights, and we've got a different show every single night, except for the end. We play our holiday show 4 times at the end, so everybody has a chance to see it. But we've got 2 new shows this semester as well. That we got a grant from the Safari Club to purchase these shows. One of them is Flight of the Butterflies, okay, which is it's been out on TV and other things, but in the dome it's going to be amazing. It talks about the migration of the monarchs, which passes right through here. It's a really good show. And then the other one is Backyard Wilderness, okay, and that's I think out on Netflix right now. But again, full dome is going to be much more impressive.
Right.
And it talks about life, around your home and in your backyard and those types of things. What goes on that maybe you don't notice. So both really, really good shows. We're excited to have those.
You actually have a new interactive deal in the lobby, correct?
We do, yeah. This past spring, we got we had one in the past that was smaller, but we got a new one with a grant from an HSI grant that the university has. It's an interactive display. It's a 4-foot globe, which is a whole long other story about how we got that ball inside the planetarium. It was difficult. But it's this big ball, and you can pull up maps. It shows real-time weather data from NASA, shows satellites, their positions. We've got historical maps on there, all the planets and other things, and just lots of really cool interactive stuff to show on that. And the lobby's open every day, roughly from about 8 to 4. So people can come in during the day and check it out and play with it. And it's pretty cool.
It's free to get it. Are the shows free as well, or do you have to pay for the shows?
No, we're cheap, but not free.
Okay.
Cheap
is good.
Yeah, it's a cheap date for sure. It's $3 for adults and $2 for children, military, seniors, all that stuff. It's free for ASU faculty, staff, and students, but it's $3 for an adult, so not too bad.
And y'all do group deals for when schools want to bring field trips by, or?
Yeah, so we have schools schedule, and so those, if there's a community group, we have lots of community groups and schools and other things come in. Those we schedule during the day, and those are all free. We do that for free. But yeah, if you've got a group here in town and you'd like to see a show in the planetarium, you can give us a call and we'll find a time and a day to schedule you.
All right. And you don't just run the planetarium, though. You actually teach up there as well.
Mm-hmm.
You teach astronomy.
Yes. Yeah, so I teach mainly intro astronomy classes. One of our classes is about the solar system, so the planets, and I talk about spaceflight and other things. And then the other class is about everything else in the whole universe.
Right.
Stars, galaxies, everything. So it's a little bit of a weird separation, but we have lots of students come through every year taking those classes too.
Right. No, I feel like we have to preface this by saying we just had a long conversation about
yes,
other galaxies and everything.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it sounds incredibly interesting, and I would love to just sit in and just listen to the discussion that could be had at these things.
Yeah, the courses especially, you know, we talk about lots of new discoveries, things like James Webb is discovering things all the time. So, you know, we try to incorporate some of the things that you see in the news that you may have questions about. You know, there was just this new world, K2-18b was in the news. And so we talk about what we really know and what we don't and the science of it and those things. It's a pretty good discussion.
Why do they name it letters and numbers? Because I think alien, and I think I'm going to go to this place and I'm going to have a face hugger attached to my, and the Wayland Corporation going to be running the whole thing. Why do they name it these things?
So exoplanet names have rules now. So K2 is the survey. It's an extension of the Kepler survey. And so that's what the K2 is. And then they give the star some identifier. Okay. In this case, I guess it was the 18th planet that K2 discovered. And then the planets themselves all have lowercase letters. And they start with B, not A. And I don't know why. But so K2-18b is from the Kepler survey. It's star number 18 for their catalogs. And the B means the first planet discovered around that star.
All right. Didn't know that.
It's interesting. It seems random, but they have
it does see, I'm like, why do they call it all this weird stuff? Why not just call it something?
We'd run out of names pretty quick if we named them all,
I guess.
Yeah,
so. I mean, because there's so much out there that we haven't even discovered yet.
Yeah, we've discovered almost 6,000 exoplanets now. Right. So that's a lot of names.
Right. And we also talk, I mean, before, you know, what people see in the news, we just had the eclipse come by last year that, you know, was interesting. And then we also have a star that's exploding somewhere out there.
That's right. Yeah. So it's been a little bit in the news lately. It's a star in a northern constellation that we can see here in San Angelo. It's called Corona Borealis. The star is called T. Just the letter T, capital T. So star names are weird too. But it's called T Corona Borealis or T Cor Bor or TCRB sometimes. It's a binary star. One of them is a white dwarf. The other is a giant. And the white dwarf is stealing material from the giant. And sometimes when this happens, the white dwarf explodes, destroys everything around it. And that's what we call a supernova. This system, though, is one of about 10 that we know of in the Milky Way that's a recurrent nova. So this white dwarf steals material, steals a little too much hydrogen that gets packed onto the surface. And then it's basically like a thermonuclear bomb that goes off on the surface, gets really, really bright, and then dims back down and the process starts over.
Okay.
So this one's interesting because This star now is not something you can see. You need binoculars, but probably a small telescope to see it now. But when it explodes, it'll be for sure one of the 100 brightest stars, possibly one of the 50 brightest stars in the night sky. So it'll be a star you don't see, and it will become one that you do.
All right. How long does it stay lit up for?
So less than a week.
Okay.
3 or 4 days. So it's a narrow window. Hopefully it's not like what we just had with all the clouds, because then we'll miss it completely. And it only happens every 80 years. So it's literally a once in a lifetime event. It was 1946 the last time this exploded. And so people got excited last May because they saw some indication that the things that happened last time before it erupted were happening again. But if that was true, it should have erupted by now. So it's going to erupt sometime in the near future. It may be in the next few weeks. It may be in another year or two, but sometime soon. So it'll be all over the news when it happens.
All right. I have 2 more questions. One, every time I hear there's an eclipse, it's like this is the first eclipse like this in 100 years. It's like the next year there's another eclipse. What is that? Just a different type of eclipse, or is it just a different type of?
Yeah, I think we try to sensationalize things sometimes to make them sound like super moons and these things. They happen a lot now. So yeah, there's details about eclipses and moons, the phases of the moon and distances to the moon. So I think anytime you get to see something like that, it's cool. I think it's disappointing sometimes. People hear supermoon, they go outside and they think it's going to be filling the sky, and it's really not. So I think sometimes we can use those words and it's a bad thing, but any interest in the sky is good, I think.
Right.
So
all right, and question number 2, is the earth flat? I'm not a flat earther, but is the earth flat?
Absolutely not. Ancient Greeks knew that the earth was round, and actually Eratosthenes measured the circumference of the earth and was very, very close.
How close was he?
Depending on what he meant by stadia, their unit of distance, maybe within 1% of what we know today, depending on what his measurement actually was, for his ruler was. But yeah, I mean, we've known for thousands of years that the earth is round.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. And if you're hearing it here first, you probably need to go back to school. All right. Dr. Carrell, thank you for coming in today, man. I know we had a long discussion. I really am interested. So thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
It's our giant tag sale.
Giant tags plus hail means one thing: giant tag hail sale prices. Right now, during our giant tag hail sale, you can get a brand new 2024 Ford Explorer XLT for just $32,977. But hurry, these are selling fast. Our giant tag hail sale at Jim Bass Cars and Trucks, Houston Hart at Arden Road, or shop 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
And welcome back. James Blaine here with Becca Coleman. She is the new curator at the Myra Museum at ASU.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Just tell us, how long have you been the curator for ASU real fast?
Just a few weeks. I've only been there for 5, but I do have background of museums. I've worked in museums for the past 16 years. I actually started volunteering at museums when I was a student at Angelo State University. So I feel very comfortable in the museum world, but I feel even more comfortable being at the campus that I attended and being able to do community outreach to the same community that I live in.
Now, you went to ASU. Did you grow up in San Angelo?
I did. So I am a local yokel. That's what I like to say. My parents are retired elementary school teachers from here. My grandmother retired. In fact, between the 4 of us, we have over 100 years of teaching experience in and around San Angelo.
Is that where your love of just history came from?
Yeah, my parents didn't take typical vacations. We didn't go to Schlitterbahn when we were growing up. What we did was we went to museums. We went to historical sites. We did a lot of genealogy, a lot of grave markers. It was present in everyday life. When you grow up with teachers, you kind of live with education for the rest of your life.
Right. No, my grandma was a deaf education teacher. So.
So you know it too. You're almost, it's like you're born into a classroom almost.
Every Christmas, we all got books for Christmas.
Of course, yes.
And it was
a thought process behind it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was great. I loved it. And but let's talk about the Myra Museum real fast. You said you want to do more community outreach.
Yeah, so one of the reasons that the Myra Museum hired me is because we are entering stage 2. So we have the new construction that's going on that will actually expand not only galleries, but be able to do more camps and workshop areas for continued education, Region 15 interaction, but also SISD teacher workshops. The whole process of the Myra Museum entering the stage 2 is to be more community minded within its programming.
Okay.
So when we talk about collections and museums that have collections, the Myra is really interesting because it's located at ASU. It's not just what it houses as far as objects and entities, but it actually houses the entire resources of Angelo State University. So you have all the different departments and the students that showcase what the departments are working on. That's part of the collection at the Myra.
You know, when I walked in, when they first kind of opened it, they had the big dinosaur. It was like really kind of overwhelming because you got a couple big time fossils and you got all the stuff along the walls and all the paintings. And no, it was incredibly, you know, interesting and neat, but there's just a lot you got to take in.
Right. Well, you know, the difference between contemporary museum style of teaching and educating and even engagement is that you really have to bring the objects to life, and you do that through student engagement. In fact, we recently had a student studying to be a paleontologist come in and create a seek and find gallery hunt that you could use for ASU students that are attending for their first time or for families. And all that interpretational information is actually done through higher education at ASU based on the collection at the Myra, but it's the life that's breathed into it is from the student engagement, from the student that actually created the program and the engagement to go through.
All right. Did I miss anything? I'm going to kind of turn it over to you if you want to.
Yeah. So we do have a couple exhibit openings coming up in September. September the 6th, which is next Friday, will be coming up, and we have 2 different artists that will be opening their exhibit, and both of them, one of them is Japanese American, one of them is Korean American, and both of them have completely different styles of painting. So you walk in and one half of the gallery is black and white, sumi-e, traditional Japanese painting, and then you have very colorful, and I'm talking big paintings, 108-inch paintings that actually have interwoven lights strewn through them that you plug into the wall. And the juxtaposition of both of those pieces or both of those types of artwork kind of engage you to look a little bit closer. That's actually brought from the art department at Angelo State University, which I myself attended. It's through the Edwards Trust Foundation, so it's granted through foundational money. And that exhibit opening is Friday, September the 6th, 5 to 8 p.m., open to the community. There will be refreshments served. The next flip is actually by the West Texas collection, so they'll be flipping the additional gallery. I think it's 207 is the other gallery, and what they're actually bringing is early photography of San Angelo. So it's kind of interesting contemporary paintings next to photographs that are traditionally like tintypes and black and white, and almost kind of like not necessarily stagnant, but great storytelling devices, and then abstract paintings in the gallery next door. So it's a good way to visually demonstrate completely different sides of Angelo State University that are just next door in the galleries.
All right, and the Myers Museum is located at 2105 or 2501. I had some dyslexia there.
You're fine.
2501 Avenue, West Avenue N.
Yes, you can't miss it. I will also say that our hours are from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, and it's completely free. You can't miss out. You walk in with your kids. My son, who is 4, is very excited that I have moved to the Myra Museum. Not only because of what's inside of it, but because it's a free place that he can enjoy with his friends and his sister and his family.
No, it's a cool place too. The big dinosaurs there.
Yeah, exactly. And a 4-year-old, that is very impressive to a 4-year-old, absolutely.
Is there anything else you'd like to say before we?
No, just please visit us, follow us on social media if you can. We'll be posting updates, including seek and finds, all kinds of stuff in the kids' cave as far as activities. I think we have some rubbing activities and paleontologist kits that are up there for us to play with today.
All right. Well, Ms. Coleman, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Back to you guys.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thanks for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only locally owned news show in the Contra Valley. Go like us on Facebook, X, and other social media platforms, and download the San Angelo Live mobile app to stay up to date with news from in and around the Contra Valley.